This video, I feel like I have tried to record about 150 times. And I get like this close. And then I have to go and do something else. Or the battery runs out. Or the camera overheats. Or the iPad runs out of battery. Or just something. So we're doing it right now. Stranger. Let's go. Let's go. Hello wonderful humans of the internet, how are we? My name is Sam Scott-Thorne and I'm a vocal coach based in Glasgow. Now if you'd like to meet and explore your voice a little more, you can find me on sstvocals.com. You can also find me on Patreon and various other social media platforms, and I put the handles down below and over there. Over there. Dramatic. Now, if you'd like to consider becoming a patron, you have access to things like early release of reactions, you can fast track reactions, become a reaction, there's special roles on my Discord server, you have access to all sorts of bonus content like my Vocal Anatomy 101 series, my outtakes, my rants, and I'm going to turn it into a little bit of a hang space. I'm not entirely sure what that looks like yet, but if you come on board, you can guide me. Whatever you want, you know, within reason. So consider becoming a patron and help shape my channel. Now, like I said, I have been wanting to record Stranger for months, years, but in the past few weeks, like, I've had an intense need to do it. I've got students telling me about it, I've got this popping up in my suggestions constantly, and I'm like, right, we're doing it right now. So we're going to go and listen to Dimash doing Stranger. I've heard good things. If there were specifics, I forgot them because I've got a terrible memory. So let's just go and see what we think. I know I'm going to like it, but just how much?
Спасибо.
Spasiba.
Спасибо огромное.
That means thank you, I think.
А теперь прозвучит новая песня. Примеры.
That is a gorgeous instrument. Oh, it's so visceral. Right, imagine being one of these, I'm assuming they're backing singers because they've all got little radio mics, but imagine being like, guess what lads, today it's black cloaks and candles. I know you're used to wearing suits and dresses, but today it's black cloaks and sandals. Candles. They might be wearing sandals. I would have the best day of my life looking like that. Why was there one singing?
You crown as far as I can see. You crown underneath my feet.
Oh! Dimash! Probably one of the most gentle starts to a Dimash song that I have heard. It is so aspirate. That is where air is coming through the folds. It's so breathy. It's like it's struggling to keep that connection almost. Just absolutely gorgeous, wispy, airy, light. Perfect. You're not going to believe this, but my camera just ran out of battery there. I told you, this video is out from my neck. Does not want to be recorded, but I had a spare, so... Anyway, as I was saying, the gentleness of this sound is just beautiful. It's not a whisper because whisper does not have any pitch to it. A whisper is where your folds are just kind of kept open and you're using your articulators to make sense of the airflow. It doesn't have a pitch because there's no vibratory pattern. So there is a vibratory pattern in order to create the pitch, but it's so aspirate that it sounds close to a whisper. You can hear as he goes into some of the vibrato, there's a little bit more clean tone, so the air kind of gets pinched off a little bit, creates a cleaner sound, but this is perfect.
Stranger in a stranger's land. New chance to know who I am if I have the strength to begin again.
Ooh, again. That little flip at the end there up into this. It almost sounds yodely, like a chest to a head voice kind of sound, but it wasn't. It was just almost like a bloop. That was beautiful. The use of the slight crescendo from an aspirate place into like a more clean pressed tone sound is faultless. It is honestly one of the smoothest moves from A to B that I have heard. And you feel the literal movement off of that. You feel like you're being pushed into the next part of the phrase. He did it twice there, and each time it was flawless. Kind of spooky. There's almost like an uneasiness to this. It feels like they're going at different tempos. They might be very slightly different tempos, and it gives you this shaky feeling. I don't know whether it's intentional or not, but what it is doing is creating this kind of ooky, spooky uneasiness. So I like it, whether or not it's deliberate or not. It is effective.
Somewhere in my heart, in ancient times, I wander. Through these valleys, I have climbed them on this hills.
So now he's moved into his lower register. Fun fact, I don't know if many people know this, but his lower register is my favourite part of his voice. I think it's so rich and buttery. I know everyone else goes crazy over the high notes and how many octaves he can sing up the way. I like how many octaves you can sing down the way. That tone is just absolutely gorgeous. The larynx isn't dropping too much, because when you drop too much, you get this airy kind of hollowness to the bottom of the sound. He's keeping it down here, but the larynx is nice and kind of mid-placed, if you like. I like that he dropped so low that he actually went into just full-on fry. When we go into our lower register, your folds are actually shortening, and they can only shorten so much before they buckle. And when they buckle, air just comes through, however, usually in a bubbly kind of fashion, and that's when you get that kind of sound. So when he goes right down, he moves into this kind of territory, which is actually just, again, almost like the whispering thing before. It's a toneless sound that he's making sense of with his articulators, because he's down in this lower range anyway, and he's kind of skimming over some of these like actual pitches. When he goes into this full fry place, it feels like it's going into an even lower pitch, but it's actually a pitchless sound. It's very, very clever. He only did it for like a split second, I think, but when he actually did it, it felt textured, it felt rich, it felt like he was scraping up from the depths. I like this. This little quiver that he's got, it feels a little bit like a bleat, but it also feels like it's movement from the body. Like if you were to shake someone, go that kind of sound. I mean, obviously not as like comedic as that, but even though it's coming from the voice, it sounds like a physical movement. Oh, that's what I'm trying to get at. I hope that translated. The physicality here as well is just gorgeous. He's like all limbs and bendiness, and it's giving like creepypasta, but in the best way. That was interesting. Gain. He changed the shape of that vowel midway through that extended sound. Very, very clever. He's using up lots and lots of different parts of his voice. Not using up, but using. It's almost like a showcase for what his voice can do in one song. It's like, I can be breathy, I can be low, I can be high, I can be operatic. He's just amazing. When he went into this kind of more pushed, nasal, twangy, operatic sound, the more pressed in sound, the mouth shape popped out to me. So he was like, in some parts where he pursed his lips forward and made this almost like smaller laser focus kind of sound. But then in the second part of the phrase, he opened up to make a more resonant sound with the same tonal qualities attached. So it was like, very, very impressive. Like the difference in tonal quality just from changing your mouth shape is amazing. Again, disclaimer, I'm not trying to sound like him here. I'm just making sounds with my mouth hole. Do you know what? I thought that instrument was Dimash's voice. That is how amazing his higher range is. I literally thought that, I don't know what it is. It looks kind of violin-esque, but not. That string sound, I felt was his voice. He's just a voice like a literal instrument, but the playing by that man is fantastic. Dimash, calm down. Oh my goodness, this boy needs a nap. He's doing so much. Where to start? Right. So the first part of this, it was almost like he did the same phrase 4 different ways. The first way, he had this like laboured H sound that started all of the different notes. So ha 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 ha. And there was a little bit of cry as he twisted onto the other parts of the sound. So kind of like that kind of sound, but much more subtle. And then as he was going up through his range, the tension got lighter. There was less of an attack on the sound, and it was more this beautiful, again, it sounds very string-like, just free and easy. As the pitch goes up, your vocal folds will stretch. As they stretch, you don't want to be giving them super amounts of like effort, because that can be mistranslated as tension, and that will close the whole show down. It's very, very light, very open, very free, and just insanely beautiful.
New crown far as I can see, new ground underneath my feet.
The little choices here, you have that little pressed in place to this pop of like lightness and breathiness.
Stranger in a stranger's land, new chance, don't know who I am, we will have the strength to begin.
So you're hearing a lot of squealo coming through from here. This is a lot of oral twang. That's when your epiglottis closes over, but not entirely, the vocal folds, and creates this kind of condensed airflow. It makes this kind of mixy kind of sound. If you're thinking chest, head, voice, it sits somewhere in the middle, because the folds are thinning out, but they're still being thickened from the above. rather than below. So it's like you get the best of both worlds, if you like. This sound is super intense. He's anchoring very, very heavily to make these sounds. That's where the muscle groups in the body will come into force in order to let the muscles of the larynx work a little bit freer and easier, so you're not blasting too much tension through this area. It's just the cleanest sound. It's gorgeous. It's very, very intense. This is what most people love Dimash for these big belty kind of powerful bombastic sounds, and I'm in for it. How long was that? That went on for a long time. Oh, this man has got lungs for days. Lungs for days. Like, most people have human-sized lungs. He's got 2 hot air balloons in there. Do you know that lovely ringy-pingy sound at the end? I would love to hear him do a duet with Jennifer Hudson. They've both got that squealo sound. And I think together, if they harmonise right, that would just be like, oh, it would probably wake up every animal within, several miles. But it'd be worth it, because that sound would be off the charts. So hope you liked that reaction. If you did, please give it a like and a thumbs up down below. And if you want to see more from me, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and anytime I have new reactions or new content, you'll be the first to see both. And I got through the video, even though, fate was trying to derail me. So I guess all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for joining me, and how are we going to buy this one? I don't know. So I guess all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for joining me, and if you think Dimash is from space, and subscribe to me, then I'll kiss your face in a figurative sense. Because I can't do it physically, because laws and distance and logistics, but I will do it digitally. I love you. Bye.